Okay, now here let's Anderson sort of answering the criticisms at CNN. CNN did receive a lot of criticisms. This is from Colin Rugg with 2 G's, Colin with 2 L's. It's a 2-minute, 15-second video. I have not watched this yet. I have heard of the silo comment, but let's just see. Here's Anderson Cooper. It's actually short for Anderson Cooper Super Duper Pooper Scooper, by the way. So that's his full name. He's like from a really rich family. You know, they're weird with names.
Many of you have expressed deep anger and disappointment. Many of you are upset that someone who attempted to destroy our democracy was invited to sit on a stage in front of a crowd of Republican voters to answer questions.
Attempted to destroy our democracy, was given millions and millions of dollars of free airtime,
and predictably continued to spew lie after lie after lie. And I get it. It was disturbing. It was disturbing to see and hear that person refer to a black law enforcement officer as a thug, an adjective he used many times to describe black men, and call Kaitlan Collins, the moderator, nasty, which is what he calls any woman who's...
to make jokes and laugh about the woman he raped. And everybody in his audience of flapping seals all applauded and cheered for it.
Stands up to him. It was disturbing to hear him speak so highly of QAnon conspirators and insurrectionists who assaulted police officers in our democracy on January 6th. And it was awful to hear him spread ridiculous lies about the election. And it was certainly disturbing to hear that audience, young and old, our fellow citizens, people who love their kids and go to church, laugh and applaud his lies and his continued defamation of a woman who, according to a jury of...
How does he know that they love their kids? Safe assumption they go to church. Giving Donald Trump nuclear weapons is not what I would call an act of love. I'm not trying to question whether... I'm sure they would get mad at me for suggesting. I'm not saying they don't love their kids. It's just that's like a weird politician mode. They love their kids. They go to church. They eat at diners. They drive a truck. They fear God. I like the God-fearing. That's always one of those ones I was like, wait, you're supposed to be afraid of it? What?
His peers, he's sexually abused and defamed.
Back up a little.
And his continued defamation of a woman who, according to a jury of his peers, he's sexually abused and defamed. As good a job as Kaitlan Collins did trying to fact-check him, it is impossible to fact-check fully because he lies so shamelessly. Now, many of you think CNN shouldn't have given him any platform to speak, and I understand the anger about that. Giving him the audience, the time, I get that. But this is what I also get. The man you were so disturbed to see and hear from last night, that man is the front runner for the Republican nomination for president. And according to polling, no other Republican is even close. That man you were so upset to hear from last night, he may be president of the United States in less than 2 years. And that audience that upset you, that's a sampling of about half the country. They are your family members, your neighbors, and they are voting. And many said they're voting for him.
And places like CNN have failed them for decades.
Yeah. Now, maybe you haven't been paying attention to him since he left office. Maybe you've been enjoying not hearing from him, thinking it can't happen again. Some investigation is going to stop him. Well, it hasn't so far. So if last night showed anything, it showed it can happen again. It is happening again. He hasn't changed, and he is running hard. You have every right to be outraged today and angry and never watch this network again. But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away?
He's catching most of the heat for that last comment. I haven't seen this before. But yeah, I mean, most of that's fairly like reasonable in this absurdity of all of it that they, you know, but like let's listen to this last bit again.
You have every right to be outraged today and angry and never watch this network again. But do you think staying in your silo and only listening to people you agree with is going to make that person go away?
He's not going to go away if you stay in your silo. You think staying in it's your fault. You got to open up your silo. Let the world's greatest con man, fascist aspiring dictator freak person into your ears through the medium of television and internet, cable news. And that way he might go away, because it is happening again, Anderson Cooper says. Yeah, it's happening because media companies are going to make the exact same cash grab for the pharmaceutical and the catheter tip dollars that they got during the 2016 election. You know, the editorial decision making of CNN at that time was arguably better than now, and it was horrible. And now that they have this Licht guy, it's going to be even worse because he's a right winger. You know, at least he seems to be pushing CNN in that direction for sure. Hiring the George Soros fearing Kaitlan Collins, for instance. She did try to fact check him, I guess. I mean, but she kept moving on. She would make a thing and then go, but we got to move on. Why do you got to move on? What do you got to move on for? It just, but the whole thing is just like spell casting. It's all just bamboozling you and trying to make you feel crazy. So, I don't have a great answer for that. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Joy is rebellion. Turn it off. Don't watch this shit. Read books. I'm trying to read books. I almost plugged in my Kindle the other day, but it's at 40%, so I didn't feel like it. I did finish a book already this year, and I started a couple up more, and I need to finish another. I need to get back to reading. I'm trying that. To rebel, to I don't watch CNN. I don't know. I mean, I see stuff on, of course it comes across the different shows I watch and stuff. And occasional YouTube videos or whatever. So appreciate the lecture there, Anderson Cooper, super duper pooper scooper. Not the most impressive performance, I'd say, lecturing people that as if our need to experience Trump, as if we haven't had our fill. I hated fucking Trump. I just had this visceral. I was bullied. I hate bullies. I think bullies need to have their, things need to. YouTube has terms of service of stuff I'm not allowed to say, but I am for standing up to bullies, but I get this visceral feeling when I see Trump. Also, when I worked at the Young Turks, I would get into I did a lot of photoshopping his face, like really close, just like making thumbnails and stuff. Which is kind of, I don't know. It's Trump. Trump is like this like ogreous, not a word, presence in this culture, and also representative of everything America has ever stood for. He's like the absolute worst parts of America all boiled into this one person. It's something very unique about that.